Hello, everybody. Jason here again with Just Saying. So, tonight I wanted to do a review on something that I was kind of procrastinating on. It's been over a year since its release. Star Wars The Last Jedi. Um, wow. Let's start with that. This movie, the director's name is Rian Johnson. I'm sure most of you who are watching this already know that. Um, he's went on record several times to say that he wanted to subvert the expectations of the crowd and the fans. Whew, he did that. Um, mm. So there are some people who have really torn this movie apart, and I have to say I'm really disappointed in it myself. I'm disappointed in what Rian Johnson did in it, but I'm more disappointed with um, just how it all unfolded, I guess. Um, my biggest problem with The Last Jedi is that it goes against everything in the galaxy or everything in the Star Wars universe that George Lucas made. And that's for real. All of a sudden, we're worried about fuel, and there's so many things that are up and out here that I couldn't really get into the story. And I prefer good criticism over just being ignorant. Anybody who knows me or knows that the how I feel about things, they're going to know that I'm not 20 years old. You know what I mean? I've uh, loved Star Wars the majority of my life. Okay, um, and I'm talking the original. That was before the 1997 and all that kind of stuff, where George Lucas went back and started remaking. I mean, as a child, I loved Star Wars. And I know a lot of people make that claims and then they start tearing it apart. Let me make my stance clear on it. I love the original trilogy, obviously. I love the prequel trilogy. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with characters like Jar Jar Binks. Um, it's George Lucas. It's his universe. He does what he wants to with Star Wars. That was his thing. Now Disney has bought him out. It's no longer his baby, so to speak. And Disney did not have the same care that George Lucas had. So let's start with this. I have never been to a movie more than once in a theater. When I go to a movie theater, I watch a movie. That's it until the movie comes out on DVD. If I really enjoyed it, I'll go buy the said DVD. I went to the Force Awakens. I'm sorry, it's 1:30 in the morning. I went to the Force Awakens 3 times in theaters. I never do that. I have never done that, and I have never done that before. I've never done it since. I really enjoyed Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I heard time and time again that there was a problem with Rey being a Mary Sue. Yes, she's overpowered, and she doesn't know where the knowledge. I mean, where does she get the knowledge from to use the Force? All these things I agree with. Okay, would I call her a Mary Sue? I'd call her somebody who's not well developed as a character. Let me state before anybody goes on some hardcore tangent of tearing me a new one that I'm not ever going to be harsh on an actor or an actress for their portrayal of a character. I'm not going to take it out on the actor or the actress. They do their jobs. I'd like to say that everybody in The Last Jedi, as an actor or an actress, did their job. They did it exactly as they were told. So the problem, if I have a problem, the problem comes to the director, the writers, okay? So, Rian Johnson, first off, I didn't agree with the movie. I didn't like it. I know that means nothing to you. That's okay. However, I've also seen you attack fans. I've seen it on Twitter. Uh, I've seen you attack people like Geeks and Gamers. Mike Zero, or however you say his name. I'm sorry, I don't get into all of that. But I've seen you attack him. I've seen you come out and say, ho, ho, ha, ha, hee, hee, and frankly, you kind of just, it's absurd. You're supposed to be a professional. Act professional. Act like a man. And I know that, they're like, oh, that's calling you out. No disrespect. Just, come on. These are fans. If they're not a fan of your movie, it's still your movie. Disney, who bought Lucasfilm and all that, they entrusted that movie to you. If the fans don't like it, it's not that you have to answer to the fans, but their criticisms, if it's good criticisms, you should take it and say, hey, a proper response is if somebody doesn't like my videos, hey, I'm sorry that you don't like it. You're welcome to not subscribe. You're welcome to dislike it. Whether you like a video or you dislike a video, to my understanding, the algorithms in YouTube, it made an emotional response. If you don't like a video, the best thing you can do is not put anything on it. That being said, let's get into some of the things that I have with it so I can move on with the video and tell you all have a good night and go to bed. So, real quick, Luke Skywalker. I was not a fan of Luke Skywalker's character in this. In fact, when the man who portrays him, Mark Hamill, who to me is a living legend, I'm a huge fan of Mark Hamill. When the man who brought the character of Luke Skywalker to life so many years ago, in 1977, when he tells you that in order to portray your version of Luke Skywalker, he has to think of maybe like he's Jake Skywalker. I, as a fan, and millions of others, I assume, never asked for a Jake Skywalker. We wanted to see Luke. Mark Hamill has said that and he's went on record that he really thought that the fans would want to see Luke, Han, and Leia reunite. But that wasn't a big deal, and it seemed like nobody cared. I don't know where he got that, because I cared. Everybody I know cared. We wanted to see that too, Mark. We wanted to see that too. And it's sad that it didn't happen. And now with, Carrie Fisher passing away, God rest her soul, it's something that can't happen. And that's sad. That's sad. That's a permanent black mark on Star Wars fandom and on the Star Wars legacy. That's sad. Luke's. I want to make sure I get my thoughts correct here for you guys. Luke Skywalker was the most optimistic character in the galaxy. That was his defining trait. He took somebody like Darth Vader, who was the most feared and the most hated man in the galaxy, in the universe, of Star Wars. And he still, because he saw just a tiny bit of hope, a tiny bit of light, he wouldn't give up on him. He for his friends, who we find out are his family, like his sister Leia, he quits his Jedi training on Dagobah to go out and save them because he can't stand the thought of them suffering. Now all of a sudden, in The Last Jedi, we're supposed to be told that the Jedi are failures and everything is just, to say that the Force belongs to the Jedi alone, if they disappear, etc., is vanity. These kind of things. Look, the Jedi are supposed to be the good guys. Hello. It's like maybe, there's a disconnect. The Jedi, you can call them failures, you can call them bad all you want to. You can say that the Jedis essentially are supposed to be the good guys. They're the selfless people. Okay, the Sith, I've heard George Lucas say in interviews that the Sith were to be selfish people. Everything was for personal gain. The Jedis were supposed to be the good guys because they were selfless. They thought of everybody else. They used their Force abilities to help, Now, obviously, we got into, if you were a slave, etc., on some far-out planet. I don't want to get into all that. It's too much. especially for a video at 1:30 in the morning. But the bottom line is this: your Jedi's were supposed to be the good guys. Now, the man who we were expecting to be the Grand Master Jedi, is saying that the Jedi are the bad guys, the losers, the failures, the vain and vanity people. Are the Sith Lords supposed to be the good guys? Who are we rooting for? And in the movie, we're told, oh, we just need strong, everyday people. I agree, and then also I disagree. I wanted to address the Mary Sue aspect of Rey. I was expecting Luke Skywalker, when we seen a reveal, to be the Grand Master Jedi. Anyone who knows battle meditation, Force battle meditation, that was revealed with Yoda, I was expecting the fact that Rey knew just in her mind how to do a Jedi mind trick, or how she was able to beat a trained Sith. Maybe not a Sith Lord, but a Sith nonetheless, a trained Sith. And she was able to beat him with a lightsaber when earlier in the movie she didn't even know what the Force was. Beating a couple brigands on Jakku, and then going out here and beating a trained Sith. That was hard to buy. So I was expecting when we revealed Luke Skywalker that he was going to be a Grand Master Jedi, that the Mary Sue aspect was going to be gotten rid of because Luke Skywalker was using a form of meditation to reach out to Rey, feeling her, sensing that, since she was coming with his father's lightsaber, that had almost been, dare I say, calling to her to give it to him by the Force, to say, hey, you need to come back and step back into battle. Because that was the way it was built up. You can't blame me or anybody else or get ignorant with them, because we had expectations because of the way J.J. Abrams had brought up in The Force Awakens what we were looking at, which he put a lot of significance into the lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker. You can call it Rey's, you can call it Luke's, I don't care. It's Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. Because that's who built it, that's who made it, that's who wielded it first. It's his. It was passed down because Obi-Wan took it after him and Anakin's battle and gave it to his son Luke. And now, in The Force Awakens, we see it's going to, go to Rey because the Force is calling Rey to it. She finds Luke. It's like a grand gesture of the Force saying, hey, Luke, come on back to the fight. Luke was it's a terrible character. Even if you say, he was going to murder his nephew. He's so worried about his daddy, but Daddy Dearest, who's the most hated man in the galaxy, but now later on in life, he's because of a glimmer of the dark side. Come on, guys. That's lame writing. It's terrible writing. It's lazy writing is what it is. And I've had people at Comic-Con say, hey, we're defending The Last Jedi. What do you think? What do I think? I think it's lazy writing. It's bad writing. You didn't take the time to care about the lore. You didn't take the time to come up with a really well thought out plan here. And then the failure on Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson, Kathleen especially, because she picks 3 different directors for 3 different movies. That's terrible. That was a terrible idea. And each one of them have free reign to do what they want. Are you kidding me? This is why Star Wars is in the debacle it's in now. It's why it's in this. It's terrible. And that's the reason. Bad planning, bad writing. Has nothing to do with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill portrayed exactly what he wanted. Exactly what they wanted. Not what he wanted, what they wanted. Rose Tico. Bad written character. You may love her. That's okay. I didn't dislike her, but it didn't do anything for me. Has nothing to do with the actress who played her. She delivered exactly what Rian Johnson wanted. Same with Poe, Finn, Carrie Fisher when she was alive. Same, whatever they wanted her to do with Leia, she did it. Holdo, Hux, Reaching that 15-minute mark. You killed Snoke. No backstory. We all wanted a backstory. You know. Any 5 minutes on YouTube. Everybody wanted a backstory. Who was he? Where did he come from? We would love to know these kind of things. Rey. You left her Mary Sue. She downloaded information from Kylo's mind. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That destroys the whole idea of having to have Jedi go to an academy, be taken from children, too old to complete the training. Hello? Yoda said that several times. It's crap. That's lazy writing. Again, that's lazy writing. There it is, guys. You know, you keep hearing in The Last Jedi, hope, hope, hope. Rian Johnson kind of wrapped it up in a neat little package. You know, he killed off Luke Skywalker. He said that Rey was a nobody. Kylo's a wimp. Sorry, guys. I even have his saber hanging right over there. Okay? And I'm talking the Black Series Force FX, whatever that is. You know, I was a huge Kylo Ren fan. I thought, that man, that's an awesome character. Then they took off his mask and he lost all the luster. I found out he's a wimpy child throwing temper tantrums. And hey, that's your movie, you know. Mine would have had Luke Skywalker, this Grandmaster Jedi, somehow through the Force, meditating, whatever it was, helping her without her even knowing it. And him waiting for her to come because he felt the Force as strongly pulling him to her as she was to him. Snoke and Luke, they would have been the big good and the big bad. We got that scene where he's, I don't know. I wanted to love The Last Jedi. My closing thoughts. I wanted to love The Last Jedi. I really did. I was a huge fan and couldn't wait to get into that theater. I was shut up and take my money. Now the fan base is split in half. You know, Star Wars used to be, hey, I'm a Star Wars fan. Are you? And it's like, yeah, man, I'm a Star Wars fan too. And next thing you know, you could talk for an hour, 2 hours, maybe longer, depending on how deep you wanted to go into that kind of lore and, you know, the extended universe and canon and all that kind of stuff. Now it's, do you like The Last Jedi or did you not? My daughter, she's a huge fan of Rey. Before The Last Jedi, I was a huge fan of Rey. You can call me sexist, racist, whatever it is you want to call people who don't like that movie. That's all crap. You know, I just didn't like the movie. It's the same as if I didn't like, I don't know, anything else. It doesn't matter what it is. I didn't like it. I went in, yes, I had my own expectations, but I have my own expectations on Batman, Superman, the Avengers. I'm not, you know, calling people racist and bigots and trolls and all this stuff just because they have a different of opinion, because they don't like your movie. It's first off not professional. It's second off, it's disrespectful. And third, it's just plain out childish. I didn't like it. I find it to be a real shame that it played out like that and has split the fan base so bad. That's a shame. But it has, and here we are. So, that's it. I'm reaching the 19-minute mark, and I don't want the video to go over to 20. I just don't know how YouTube will take that. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight. Thumbs down on The Last Jedi. I really wish I could. Like I said again, I will say it again. I really wanted to love this movie. Rian Johnson with the young man, you know, force moving the broom and that kind of stuff. It kind of ended the movie. Luke is dead. He's a force ghost or whatever they've got going on with him in 9, whatever. I don't have any desire to see the movie. There's nothing that pushes me into the chair to go watch episode 9. There's nothing. And that's sad. That's really sad, especially since Disney paid so much money for it. So, I'm at the 20-minute mark. You guys have a blessed night. God bless each and every one of you. If you haven't done anything good for somebody today, do it now. Do something good. We want to leave the world in a better place than the way we left it. And if you like the video, you like the channel, please feel free. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. So y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.